authentication using SMS. This webinar is hosted by SecurEnvoy and CM.com, and we're partnering together to provide this service to companies. Our relationship is going back pretty far, so we decided to well, be together on this one and review, give you a plain introduction on quality tokenless authentication using SMS. We're going to cut this webinar in two pieces. First is going to be Phil. He's going to give you a main introduction on tokenless authentication, what it is and why you should use it. And later on I will tell you some more about sending SMS messages and what the challenges are there and what we can do to make most of that. So without any further ado, Phil, please take it away.
Okay, good morning everyone. My name is Philip Hunter. I work at SecurEnvoy. I'm the head of pre-sales, so I look after everything from a technical aspect. So we've got a very short and concise PowerPoint to take you through. So it's all about our product offering and how we dovetail and integrate very well with CM and the benefits to all. So just to get moving, so what we need to do is to really understand what is tokenless. Now, we work in what's called a two-factor authentication space. Now, the reason two factors come of age and become very mainstream is when you look at the screen at the moment, you can see how many passwords people do actually have to remember and use in their day-to-day life. So for the majority of people we've surveyed, it's in excess of 10 passwords for different accounts. And typically what tends to happen is the user ID and password will always be the same across multiple platforms, which makes it easy for the end user. However, from a security standpoint, it does open up a lot of weaknesses because it's the same account, it's static, and if one gets breached, you could lose the ability to protect all of your information. So moving on from that slide, so what are the main problems as we see? So the first one is social engineering. As a human, we have an ability to trust another. It's very easy to ask for a password, coerce a password out from an end user. The next one is very much get into the enterprise market where a policy is placed to have a good quality password. However, as you can see on the screen now, for a lot of customers, end users find this very hard and they ended up writing it down, put it on a post-it note next to the machine they're logging in with. Also, we've also seen a number of passwords, things like zip codes, car registration numbers, child's names, birthday dates, etc. All information that can be obtained through social media, Twitter feeds, Facebook sites, etc. So people do leak a lot of information. Now, one of my favorites is shoulder surfing. Again, very basic technique, but it does work. Especially now with the quality of cameras on phones coming in, it's very easy to do this quite nonchalantly and obtain user information. Now we're sort of moving into the world of what the hacking community can do. Keystroke login and screen scraping. Now the first one, we had a very famous one in the UK, which is the Bank of Sumitomo. And this was a Japanese bank, and after an investigation they found they had in excess of 20 instances of key login software installed within their own system. Now, this can be overcome by having a mouse-based virtual keyboard on the screen. But like all things in life with security, the good guys overcome the first problem, and the bad guys come back with what they call screen scraping. So what it would do is every time you've done a key depress, a screen capture would be taken and then uploaded to the hacker's command and control server for interrogation and use thereafter. And the last one is, again, have a search through any of the main search engines on the internet. There's some great tools out there from Bluffcrack, Enable, Jack the Ripper. This is what they call password crackers. So it's very simple software that you can install with a little knowledge, and you can then obtain passwords by just being connected to a wired or wireless network, and obviously then gives you the power to actually brute force the password to actually obtain the clear text password. So again, all of these exist in the market today, and they're free for anyone to actually go and download. So the next stage is, what is two-factor authentication? So two-factor gives you the ability to overcome all the problems we've just seen with passwords. And the simplest anomaly to actually walk you through of what it actually is very much when you go to a teller machine or ATM machine where you do the chip and pin. So you have there's something you own, which is your ATM card, and there's something you own, which is a secret or a password. Now, so two-factor is actually giving you the ability to have two different factors of authentication. So something physical and something you know. Now, in the world we work in, there's three factors that can actually authenticate a user. We have there's something they know, there's something they know, and there's something they are. Now, with the are component, this is where we move into the world of biometrics. But for majority of companies, biometrics is not scalable enough. It's a very high cost of implementation, and it's very hard to implement in a remote access type strategy where you want to just use it for a web-based authentication or a VPN, etc. So we get to the point now we're pretty much understanding what two-factor actually is. So we're going to types are in the marketplace today. Now we have what we call the traditional hardware tokens. Again, great technology. However, they're 2 decades old, so it's nothing new. Now, for the hardware tokens, a number of key things that go against them. One, it's a very high cost for purchase. It's a very high cost for distribution. Also, they're known as what's called time synchronous, which means there's an internal clock on the device which may go out of synchronization with the clock on the server. So the user has to go through a number of parameter changes to actually get them back in sync, which is quite an overhead for the end user. It's not as simple as it first seems. Now, smart cards, again, another great technology, but it's another piece of hardware you have to deploy to the end user. But also the smart card is very much a dumb device. There's no intelligence on there until you put something tangible upon the smart card. In the industry, that's known as a digital certificate. So this means you now have to have certificate lifecycle management, certificate enrollment, certificate deployment, and also certificate revocation in case the certificate expires or the user loses the smart card itself. Again, seems like a very simple technology, but it's a massive management overhead to actually make this work. In addition, you also have to deploy smart card readers and also potentially software drivers to make this work. That leads us on how you actually make this work within a business kiosk environment, and also if you're doing remote access on your phone or iPad, where do you plug the smart card in? Now, USB sticks try to overcome all the issues with the smart card by having a different form factor, but it's exactly the same approach. It still requires certificate management. Now, something we do listen to, there's some very good analysts in the marketplace. Now, probably the leading one is Gartner, and they have a magic quadrant for user authentication. And the big driver, as they're seeing, is what's called the user experience. And the key words that are coming out of this, you can't afford as a business to give your employees poor IT usability. It's no longer accepted. So you have to give them something that's cost effective, that's secure, but also is a seamless experience for the end user. Again, we've been evangelizing this for many years, but again, now at this point, the analysts are now taking stock of everything SecurEnvoy actually said in the market. So how can SecurEnvoy bring value? Well, we know collectively to date that there are 7.2 billion people in the world, of which there are 6.9 billion GSM connections. So you're more likely to have access to a cell phone than any other electronic device. Now we can leverage that device by using a tokenless authentication. So the first way we're going to discuss is SMS. So we can actually send an SMS to the user's cell phone. It's completely clientless. There's no software to install. However, there's a number of things you need to understand. What about if you have a delay? What if you're in a building with no signal? And also, if you're using your phone to connect to the internet, can you receive an SMS at the same time? The next approach we have is to use, again, tokenless, so you can leverage the cell phone. We also have the ability for a voice, which we also have integrated within CM, and also email. Now, you have BlackBerry deployed and you trust the email delivery secure. Again, it's another mechanism you can use for delivering a passcode to the user. Again, the passcode has just come up as a simple text or simple email message on the device, so it makes it very easy for the end user to use and experience a two-factor logon. Now, the third way we can do this is to actually use software. Now, previously, putting software on a device was very hard. However, Apple's very much the game changer in this market by bringing in the App Store, which made it very simple for end users to select some software, install it, and make it work. We can now leverage this for both with the App Store, Windows devices, Google for all the Android devices, and also BlackBerry. Again, by having a seamless installation and a common look and feel across all phone operating systems makes the end user experience very simple. So you can see here how we can actually bring a two-factor experience with little overhead to the end user by just leveraging the device they already have. So from a user experience, how can we plug this all together? Well, very easy. So here's a good geographic of where users may be deployed globally. They want to access an application at their company headquarters. It could be web-based, it could be VPN. And at the moment, they're just prompted for a username and password. This is something they already know. At this point, we can install a SecurEnvoy server or use the managed service at CM. We can very easily integrate this with your existing web application or VPN or firewall, etc. And at this point, the user will then get the next prompt, which is to enter the 6-digit passcode. The user will then, from the device, we have a number of different ways. We can either send what we call a preloaded code, so we can overcome a delay. So this is the code is sent to the phone when they're enabled, and it's refreshed at time of logon, and it does what's called a dynamic override. The end user only sees one SMS message. We also have the ability to do what we call a flash SMS. This is when the code is sent at time of logon. And again, by using flash, which CM support, it doesn't go to the inbox, it goes direct to the phone display, and it's never stored in the SMS inbox. So that pretty much takes care of my part of the presentation. I'm now going to hand over to Cass, who will be continuing with the next part of the presentation. And Cass, over to you.
Yes, thank you very much. So let's pick it up from there. So first, I see some people entering questions in the chat box. I think that will be great. If you have anything, we'll have some time at the end to answer them. If you have any questions or anything that pops up in your mind, just type them into the chat box, and we'll handle them when we're done with the slides. Cool. So there we go. My name is Cas, and I work product marketing for CM. So just not going to do a real long introduction, but you at least know who I am. If you have anything, you can always email me or leave a message on Twitter, and we'll pick it up. All right. So Phil was already talking about sending authentication messages through SMS. But then again, of course, if you cannot receive SMS fairly quickly, it doesn't feel like a quality service or like a seamless experience. So what do we define as a good SMS? And we say, well, if an SMS is delivered at your phone in less than 10 seconds, then we would say that is a good SMS. That's a quick one. That's a seamless integration. So, question is, why is that difficult? And that's what I will try to explain to you with these slides. All right. So what happens is when you send a message, it travels through a chain of companies, of partners. So first you have you, which is the first block, and you ask SecurEnvoy to send an authentication message to your phone. So they deliver that message to an SMS gateway, and the SMS gateway then delivers it to the operator, which delivers it to your phone. Right? So that's not really difficult. But what does make it difficult is no SMS gateway is connected to all the operators around the world. So how can we deliver a message to a phone everywhere around the world? So SMS gateways use partners. They use partners to connect to operators. So leveraging a partner network, they can connect to all the operators around the world. But you're not pretty sure, but it could be that your partner is using a partner as well. So you're creating a network of partners handling messages, delivering them to operators. Well, and that then might introduce some difficulties. And there are like two main parameters we measure to indicate quality of a message. So first is delivery time from the start of the message, so when the message is delivered to the gateway all the way to when the message is delivered on your phone. That part is what we call delivery time, and we measure it in seconds. And we have delivery rate, which is the amount of messages that fail to be delivered at all. So there are like two big reasons for a low delivery rate. One is bad phone numbers. So meaning that if there is a incorrect phone number or incorrect formatted phone number in a certain sense, then it cannot be delivered. Or if any of the partners in the chain is not able to deliver your message, and it will drop out, then it will also be registered as a failed message. Other parameter is the delivery time, and there are like there's usually one big reason for long processing time, which is somewhere in the chain there's a holdup. So at CM we can process like up to 2,000 messages per second, but that does not hold for all the partners or operators in the chain. Even some operators cannot manage that many messages. So what do we do about that? We are constantly optimizing routes. So CM has most of the time more than one route to the operator. So you see like the big blue line above is sometimes we have direct connections, mostly in Europe and around the world we have 20 direct connections, so we can deliver directly to the operator, which is really quick, really secure. And in the other times we use partners, and we use a lot of partners, and we select between those routes. We are located here in the Netherlands, in Breda, and we have an entire team dedicated to operating and managing our network. So they constantly monitor all the different routes to all the operators we have. So say at a certain point in time one partner fails to deliver to the operator, we offer a free retry service, meaning that we will take that message and put it again through the system using another partner, so it will get delivered. And at the same time, that partner will get like a penalty, so we will not use it to deliver messages. And what we do based upon those delivery rates and delivery times, we constantly try to find the best and most optimum routes to deliver messages. And we say we can deliver 90% or more within 10 seconds. It's like a promise we make based upon our systems. Right. So why CM? Well, just like explained to you, we really try to focus on delivering quality messages, delivering them quick, fair pricing. We do that already for, I don't know, 15, 16 years. We deliver daily 2.7 million messages, 180 countries. So we do have the experience of delivering messages. And well, just don't take our word for it. Gartner also mentioned us in the user authentication, the Magic Quadrant, as a good quality of service and like a partner to many of the OTP companies. All right. So that was my part on SMS delivery. If you want to try something out, you want to get started, or you want to have wrap your fingers around it, go to SecurEnvoy.com and you can select the 30-day free trial. You can just build on your own authentication server, and we have a deal with SecurEnvoy. We do provide you with the trial SMS messages, so you're free to get it working for yourself and see whether you like it. If you already use a installation, you want to improve your messages, you can go to SecurEnvoy.CM.com and you can directly create an account and start sending using our gateway. If you are Dutch, we have a white paper for you on OTP. You can go to well, the link which is on the slide. If you don't speak Dutch, you can always drop me a line and I'll send you a English version of this white paper. All right. So on behalf of Phil and myself, I would like to thank you for your attention. I think we have some time left to answer some questions. Let me just quickly pop up the chat box.
Yeah, I've done a few responses whilst I've been online. So if there's any further questions, let's just take.
Well, we might to can pick out a few because I see some pretty good ones here.
Yeah.
Well, hello everybody. I think we just opened up the chat. Maybe we. Yeah. I'll just read them from the box and we can just answer them over here. So, Zeus Meisters, you mentioned a lot of overhead using physical devices compared to using mobile phones as authenticator. How would you avoid overhead on mobile phone changes, lost maintenance, while ensuring a seamless and end-user experience? Phil, can you answer that one?
Sorry, I was just muting off the noisy background then. Can you just repeat the question?
Yeah, sure. You mentioned a lot of overhead using physical devices compared to using mobile phones as authenticator. How would you advise to avoid overhead on phone number changes or lost maintenance while still ensuring the seamless end-user experience?
Okay, it's two ways. First of all, if it's a corporate-issued handset, the first thing is the mobile number would already be being managed under the mobile attribute of the customer LDAP. Again, we support all LDAP types. That's Active Directory, Novell eDirectory, Linux, OpenLDAP, Oracle LDAP, IBM, Lotus Domino's LDAP. Also into the e-commerce environments where you have Microsoft Active Directory, Lightweight Directory Services LDAP. Now, as in some of the chat windows earlier, I was saying about we have a self-user help desk, what's called an emergency help desk. So again, this can be turned on, so if required, the user can actually update and manage their own mobile number. Now, one thing we've brought to the market, which we have some very big education around, is what we call the user manage my token ability. So, as you've seen, we've discussed about using a voice as a method for delivering a passcode, email, and also SMS. With the Manage My Token portal page, the user can actually authenticate with their existing token and then change the mode of operation or potentially update their number. Again, we can control the policy, so we very much offload the administrator overhead to the end user. So the end user can actually choose what works for them. It may be a soft token, it may be SMS. maybe voice. The other thing to think about is how often does the user update their mobile? It could be every 18 months, could be every 24 months. So if the user has the ability to migrate from one phone type to another one seamlessly, this gives the whole end user acceptance and keeps the experience simple. Again, we can show you this more in depth post this WebEx. We can always arrange another one to actually walk you through some of the technology, or as
Cool.
Cass said earlier, go with a download and try it for yourself.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, well, and I always think in this case, like the hardware tokens always got lost as well. So you're like, the problem has always been there. It's not going to be solved. When you have something in the two-factor authentication, you are always able to lose it. You can lose your credit card, your debit card. You're not able to do that as well.
I mean, just to follow up on that, I mean, one thing we worked on nearly 2 years ago was a survey called Nomophobia, which stands for No Mobile Phobia. And we have research from Berkeley, and we find that the user is almost in physical contact with a phone 7 times a minute. There's more personal security around a mobile device. We call it the pat down. So if you come out of any meeting or a restaurant, or you leave your house, it's like, where's my keys? Where's my wallet? Where's my phone? It's like the 3 things you always know where they are. Whereas the physical tokens, it's only when you go to log in you realize it's missing. And again, this is why I find there's more benefit to actually use the device. What we call is sticky to the end user.
True, very true, very true. Just let me see. There are question. There are some questions concerning the security of the system. Is it based on open standards? Are there secrets stored? Where are the secrets stored? How safe is it? Can you tell me? Can you tell us a little bit about that, Phil?
Yeah, unlike again, we compare to a traditional token or smart cards technology. Take some of the key players, RSA, SafeNote, etc. Now, the manufacturer will generate what's called a seed record. That's the algorithm which will generate the one-time passcode. So the vendor has a copy. They then have a production site in China, which will then produce the plastic tokens. So the production site will then have a copy of the seed records. When a customer buys the tokens, another copy of the seed records is sent out to the customer to install on their server. So you now have 3 potentially controlled copies of the one seed record. And as we saw with RSA a few years ago, when they were breached, the seed records were compromised. Now at SecurEnvoy, we don't have seed records. Seed records are purely generated on the customer premise equipment or via the CM managed service. Now, the way we generate our seed records, we think is very secure. We actually use the thermal resistor within the Intel chipset. Now, this thermal resistor actually measures what's called shock key noise. It's a pure random noise that's picked up through electromagnetic radiation. And it uses that as a salt to produce a key which is completely unique to the customer environment. And that key is our master encryption key to store all subsequent data for the user. Now, all the data we store directly in LDAP, and we use 256-bit AES encryption. And also the seed records that are generated, together, we're using the crypto API. And this is the same crypto API that's used to generate an SSL private key. So we have a pure random key that's generated, and it's using the RSA BSafe toolkit. Now, if you don't trust that, you won't trust any SSL private key on the internet. Just so you can see how we've gone to great lengths to actually make this very secure.
I didn't know you actually use the random noise in the computer system to generate the random numbers. That's a cool one. I didn't know that.
Okay.
So just maybe one short question which was entered during the subscription part of the webinar is well, telecom providers, they don't offer SLAs, so their service cannot be trusted, which is more like a statement than a question, I think. And I would like to respond really quickly to that the sense that, well, as I just showed you, CM is constantly monitoring and managing the entire delivery route. So if for any reason a message is not delivered, we retry it and deliver it again to your mobile phone. Indeed, if a operator itself, like the last part in chain, might be down because there's no really substitute for you, for your operator, there are like two other options. One is SecurEnvoy offers preloading of SMS messages, meaning that as soon as you log in, you are sent a new SMS for the next time. So there's like a longer time frame in which the message can be delivered. And if that would not have worked, there's always the emergency helpdesk, which is able to help you out there. But we're talking, well, this is not something that happens really often. All right. Phil, do you have anything to add before we wrap this up?
No, I think it's been a great WebEx. Lots of interest, lots of questions. So it's good to get the next stages, and I think good for people to actually take the software, download, and obviously test both ourselves and obviously the CM deliverability.
Yeah. Really cool. So yeah, there are still some questions popping in. I think we'll
Excellent.
All right, so thank you for listening to us. If you have anything, questions, maybe remarks or anything, you can email us both. Phil is able. You can reach Phil on p_underwood@secureenvoy.com, or you can send me an email message on cs@cm.nl. So I think later this week we will publish the webinar on the CM YouTube channel, which is available on youtube.com/cmtelecomtv. So you can always look it back for further reference if you want to pick that one up. So I think that's it. Everybody, thank you for listening, and I hope to speak to you soon. Have a great day.
Okay, thanks again. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye.